Hi everyone, it's Carl here from Sydney, Australia. In this lesson we're going to look at the passive in English. We're going to look at the way you use the passive to talk about objects, and we're going to look at how to form passive sentences in different tenses. So let's start by looking at the difference between normal sentences, which are usually active, and passive sentences. So in English there are different types of sentences. There are sentences which we call active sentences, and they focus on people or objects and the actions they do. So in this case, she kicked the ball. In this case, he is building a house. In both of these situations, you can see people doing things. You can see the subject and you can see the action that they've done or are doing. Passive sentences aren't like that. Passive sentences focus on the results of actions or on objects and processes. So in this case, the object is a soccer ball. You ask, well, what happened to the soccer ball? Well, that's what happened. The ball was kicked out of bounds. In this case, we focus on the process of the house and construction. And so we say, a house is being built. We don't know who's doing it. We don't know the names of the people. It's not interesting at all. The important thing is we can see the house is being built and it looks pretty good. So, let's start with present simple passive. Like present simple active, the present simple passive focuses on things that are routine or everyday. Things that are facts as well. So it's I am or I am not and past participle, am I and past participle. You, we, they are and past participle, or you, we, they aren't and past participle. Are you, are we, are they and past participle. He is, she is, it is and past participle. Is he, is she, is it and past participle. Now that you know the form, let's see if you can make correct sentences from these prompts. So let's look at the first one. This is so everyday there's a hill. It's actually called Mango Hill in Queensland. So you see mangoes, plural, mangoes, and the verb grow. That's right, mangoes are grown in Queensland and they are delicious. And then we look at this one. This is an everyday occurrence. Petrol and diesel, so it's two things. Petrol and diesel, that's right, are sold at petrol stations. And you'll be lucky if you get the prices listed here, but you know, we can dream. The garbage, that's right, you're getting good at this now. The garbage is collected every Tuesday. That's just my area. Maybe in your area the garbage is collected on Wednesday, or the garbage is collected on Thursday, the garbage is collected on Friday, perhaps the garbage is collected on Monday. But it's an everyday routine, and we're focusing on the result. Now let's look at this. We can see two people in the picture. One of them is doing an action and the other one is receiving the action. So this person, we say, the hairdresser is styling her client's hair. It's an active sentence because we're focusing on the person doing the action. And then we look at this one. Her hair is being styled. That is the result of the activity. So the hairdresser, that is the person doing the action. The hair, we're focusing on the result or the object of the action. The form looks like this. You can say, I am being, or I am not being, and past participle. Questions, you can say, am I being, and past participle. You can say, you are, we are, they are being, and past participle. Or you aren't, we aren't, they aren't, and past participle. For questions, are you, are we, are they, and past participle. She is, he is, it is, being, and past participle. It isn't, she isn't, he isn't being, and past participle. Is she, being, past participle. Is he being, and past participle. Is it being, and past participle. Now that you know the form, let's see if you can make sentences from these prompts. So we look at the floor and rug, and what is happening to them? That's right. The floor and rug are being vacuumed. What about here? What's happening to the wall? That's right. The wall is being painted. And hopefully they'll be finished soon. Now this one should be familiar to you because we've been through 2 lockdowns here in Sydney, and I'm sure a lot of you started using this app. So you're getting very hungry, it's dinner time, people are starting to complain, you look at your phone and you see the food is being delivered, and hopefully it'll arrive soon. Now let's look at this. Past simple. And there's 2 people involved here. One did the action and the other received the action. The person did the action, we say he kicked the ball. And the other person, we say he was hit by the ball. So we have the active, he kicked it, he did the action, and the passive. He didn't do anything, he was a result of the action. And now he's in hospital, getting an x-ray. Poor fellow. So the form of past simple passive is as such. I was, he was, she was, and it was, plus past participle. I wasn't, he wasn't, she wasn't, it wasn't, and past participle. Or was I, was he, was she, was it, and past participle. You were, they were, we were, and past participle. You weren't, we weren't, they weren't, and past participle. Were they, were we, were you, and past participle. Now that you know the form, take a look at this series of actions. At the first action, she parked her car in the no parking zone. Oh dear. It's not going to end well. If we look at the next picture, yes, it didn't end very well for her. Ended terribly because her car was towed away. Her car was towed away and now she's on the bus or on the train. That's right. The player committed a foul kick the other player's legs, and the result of that action is the player was sent off by the referee. Oh, poor fellow. Now this is a very common use of the past simple passive to talk about films or books. In this case, Avatar. So you can see Avatar was directed by James Cameron. You see the film first, so you're talking about the film, and the person who did it, they come afterwards, at the end of the movie. That's why we say directed by, written by, produced by. Now let's take a look at this. Past continuous. Something that was happening at a specific point in time in the past. Say yesterday at 3 p.m. or yesterday at 9 p.m. or yesterday at 1 p.m. yesterday at 2 p.m. So if you look at the person, you can say he was standing on the construction site. That's the active sentence. He was doing the action. What about the roof? You can say the roof truss was being moved. That's the passive sentence. Someone's moving it, but we can't see them, and we don't care who's doing it. The important thing is it was being moved around about 3 p.m. So the past continuous passive is just like the present continuous, except present continuous talks about right now, something's in progress, and past continuous talks about at that specific moment in the past, something was in progress. So it works like this. I was being, he was being, she was being, it was being, and past participle. Or was I being, was he being, was she being, was it being, and past participle. You were being, we were being, they were being, and past participle. Were you being? Oh wait, I haven't given you the negative. Let me go back. You weren't being, they weren't being, we weren't being, and past participle. Were you being, were we being, were they being, and past participle. Now you know the form, let's see if you can complete some sentences about things that were in progress at a specific moment in the past. So this is yesterday at 7 p.m. at that exact moment. And look at Garfield. Garfield licked his lips while dinner, that's right, was being cooked, because they haven't finished cooking it yet. This is a very common one in Australia. She had a coffee while her car, that's right, was being repaired. Hopefully she didn't get charged too much money for it. The spectators clapped while the player that's right, was being carried off the field. Oh, you're getting pretty good at this. Okay, let's keep going. Let's go to some more difficult tenses now. Let's look at this, the present perfect. Now, as you know, the present perfect is used to describe an action in the past with a result now. So if we look at the guy in the pictures, before, well, he's not the most attractive man ever, but after, looks a little bit like the Hulk. And so we can say he has lost a lot of weight. Yes, there's a difference between the past and now. And then we look at the room. And before it looked okay, but now it looks much better. Why does it look much better now? Because it has been redesigned. We don't know who redesigned it. It's not important to us. The important thing is it has been redesigned and now it looks much better. So in the first one, the active one, we're talking about a person and their actions. But in the second one, we're talking about an object and the result on that object. So the form is I have been, you have been, we have been, and they have been, plus past participle. I haven't been, you haven't been, we haven't been, and they haven't been, plus past participle. Have I been? Have you been? Have we been? Have they been? And past participle. He has been, she has been, it has been, and past participle. He hasn't been, she hasn't been, it hasn't been, and past participle. Has he been? Has she been? Has it been? And past participle. So now you know the form for present perfect passive. See if you can complete these sentences. So we look at the lounge room. It's a thing. Redecorate. How can you make this into a correct sentence? Beautiful. You've done it perfectly. That's right. The lounge room has been redecorated. It has been redecorated. I know you look at it before, every parent's nightmare. And you look at it now, much better. And why? What has happened? What has been done to the playroom? That's right. The playroom has been tidied and looks much better for it. This is probably somewhere out in the countryside. Before, absolutely nothing but grass. But now you can see that a lot of trees have been planted. Beautiful. It's easy for you now. Okay, so let's move on. This one's even more difficult. This is the past perfect. So the present perfect talks about an action or event in the past and the result now. The past perfect talks about an action in the past and the result in the past as well. And in this case, we normally go backwards. So something happened in the past, but why did that happen? Because something had happened earlier. Now I understand. So in this case, the guy couldn't buy any toilet paper. You're like, well, why? Why couldn't he buy any toilet paper? You just go to the shops and buy it. And then he says, well, because other customers had bought all the toilet paper. Right, now I understand. I understand perfectly. Now another way you could say this is to say that all the toilet paper had been bought. And that's probably more common in this situation because you're focusing on the toilet paper and why you couldn't buy it. So we have the active sentence, the other customers did the action, and the passive sentence focusing on the object that you wanted to buy. Still with me? I hope so. So let's look at the form. The form for the past perfect is very easy. It's the same for everybody. It's had or hadn't plus been plus past participle. Had and then the subject, been and past participle. I told you this one was easy. So now that we've seen the form, let's try and complete the sentences. So you were stuck in traffic. There was a lot of traffic on the road. Why was there a lot of traffic on the road? Because 2 lanes, that's right, had been closed earlier. And that created the build-up of traffic. Yeah, he was on the bench. But why was he on the bench? Because he had been injured in a previous game. You're like, oh, okay, now I understand why he didn't play last night. And then you look at this. Oh no. Yes, that's right. Because the last month's bill hadn't been paid. Now, anyone who lives in a share house or who lives with flatmates probably had this situation. Yeah, something was cut off, the water was cut off, the electricity was cut off because the bill hadn't been paid on time. Easily fixed though. Now let's look at the future. You can use going to if it's about plans, but we're going to use will in this case because we're going to look at promises and predictions. So if we look at this one, the driver is talking to the businesswoman on the phone. He says, I will deliver your package this afternoon, I promise you. The driver will deliver it. Then we look at this situation. The businessman calls the call center. Now the call center don't deliver anything. So the woman at the call center says, your package will be delivered in 3 days. Although it's more likely 10 or 11 days. But that's what they tell you on the phone. Your package will be delivered in 3 days. Talking about the package, so it's passive. Once again, the form is very easy because it's modal. So it's I, you, we, they, he, she, it will or will not plus be plus past participle. Will plus subject plus be plus past participle. Now that you can see the form, let's see if we complete these sentences about results in the future. So they're talking about the bridge. They're looking at the plans for the bridge now. And that means in the future, that's right, a bridge will be built over that road. You get the invitation to your friend's wedding now. And it tells you the address of the ceremony. And so you can say the wedding ceremony will be held at Terrace on the Park. And then you look at this. This is a prediction, but it's a pretty strong prediction. Now, most people use petrol cars. But in the future, petrol cars will be replaced by electric cars. In Australia, they reckon that will happen by 2050. But I think it'll happen quite a bit earlier. Okay, now let's look at modals of obligation. So you say, I have to, I need to, or I must buy some food because the fridge is empty now and I've got to do something about it. So this is the active sentence. The passive though, you've gone, you've bought your groceries, you've got the ice cream. What needs to happen to the ice cream? Well, the ice cream has to be put in the freezer. The ice cream needs to be put in the freezer. The ice cream must be put in the freezer. It doesn't matter who does it. It really doesn't. It just has to be put in the freezer. Yeah? It needs to be put in the freezer quickly. Somebody needs to do it. And so this is a passive sentence. We're focusing on the ice cream. So for modals of obligation, it depends whether you're using need to, have to, or must. If it's must, it's the same for everyone. Yeah? It's a must, I must be, you must be, he must be, and past participle. He mustn't be, she mustn't be, it mustn't be, and past participle. And for questions, it's must I, must you, must we, must they, must he, must she, must it, plus be and past participle. For have to, it changes. I have to be, you have to be, we have to be, they have to be, and past participle. He has to be, she has to be, it has to be, and past participle. Do I, do you, do we, do they have to be, and past participle. Does he, does she, does it have to be, and past participle. And need changes as well. I need to be, you need to be, we need to be, they need to be, and past participle. But he needs to be, she needs to be, it needs to be, and past participle. Do I, do you, do we, do they need to be, and past participle. Does he, does she, does it need to be, and past participle. So be conscious of how it changes between the different subjects. Now look at this one. This is definitely an obligation in Australia. You'll get a penalty if you don't follow it. So this is just true all the time. Seat belts. Yes, that's right. Seat belts must be worn. Seat belts have to be worn. Seat belts need to be worn at all times. They need to be worn at all times. Dogs. Especially if you see this sign. And this is always true if you see this sign. That's right. Dogs must be kept. Dogs have to be kept. Dogs need to be kept on a lead at all times. And if you don't do it, well, there's a pretty big penalty. Now look at this. Talking about a problem now and what has to be done. Yes, perfect. That's right. His computer must be repaired. His computer has to be repaired. His computer needs to be repaired. And if someone doesn't repair it for him, well, I don't know what will happen. Nothing good. So, that was the passive and how to use it in different situations and at different times. Here's a summary. If you're watching this on YouTube, please pause it and take note. I've given you the form and the function for each of the sentences. And here's another one for the other tenses. You can pause the video now and take a screenshot, or if you're old-fashioned like I am, you'll write it down and make note of when to use it and how to make the correct sentence to use it. Well, that's it for the passive. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something from this video, and most importantly, I hope you're enjoying learning another language. Well, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!